just to name a few. Now present our first keynote speaker, Brian Heat.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Everybody's good? All right, let me get a fist up one time. If we're in the building, we ready to rock. All right, let's get started, man. First of all, I want to say thank you to SUNY Cortland, my man James, my man Jarvis, Lima, who's been steady on the emails. Lima, you don't play with those emails, Queen. I appreciate you. I think that's my man Chris. What's up, Big Chris? Chris Van Nant, my guy. So first of all, man, again, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be back. Let me paint a real quick picture for you, and I don't know if you guys know this. This is my second time keynoting this event, and what's nostalgic about this is the last time I saw you guys was right before COVID. I don't know if you guys remember that. Literally, you guys were my last speaking engagement before COVID came in and shut the whole world down. And what's crazy is this. When I left New York this time last year, I had about a 15, 16 city tour planned for the spring. In about 72 hours, all the cities got shut down. I probably lost about $25,000 to $30,000 in speaking fees just like that. And we're going to talk about, write this down, guys, the art of pivoting. If you haven't learned how to pivot in COVID, if you haven't learned how to reinvent yourself and reattack during this year, we're going to get into that a little bit. So again, for those of you guys that don't know who I am, my name is Brian Heat. I'm an educator, a motivational speaker, an author, a father, and a God-fearing man. And I'm going to be very clear from the very beginning. When I started this years ago, because I used to be a principal, a vice principal, a dean of students, but when I started this years ago, I knew this work was so important that I could not do it alone. And what I mean by that is this. Write this down. When you find your calling, what you really have found is your ministry. Oh, you missed that one. And please believe, guys, when I start getting into my zone, I just make things up on the go, man. Nothing is predetermined. Nothing is scripted. But I'll say this again. When you find your purpose, when you find your calling, what you really find is your ministry. Now, why I say ministry and not purpose is because ministry drives home that God has to be involved. I don't know about you. I can't do this work. You guys are worth so much to me. If I don't bring God involved, I'm insulting you. I'm insulting your time. I'm insulting your expectations. So best believe this is what I realize. When you're following your passion, your purpose, your ministry, your calling, you're surrendering to a higher purpose. Write it down. Surrendering to a higher purpose. Now, when I say that, what I mean by that is this. I'll extend it out. I am never somewhere I'm not supposed to be. You missed that. Come on now, get with me. Get with me. Hey, Chris, you better tell these people. Lima, you better let them know what time it is. Listen, I'm never where I'm not supposed to be. I'm never when I'm not supposed to be, meaning in life there are no accidents. So the fact that I'm with you today, I'm supposed to be here today. I've already prayed over the speaking engagement. I prayed with my son last night. We pray every evening, but last night I included the conference in my prayer saying, look, let me talk to their hearts and minds. Let me speak life into who needs to speak life to. Let me give encouragement to the person that feels hopeless. Let's get into it, guys. If you're on the call today, on the Zoom today, on this Webex platform today, write this down. The universe wants to tell you something amazing. The universe wants to tell you, some of you guys have been praying for an opportunity. Some of you guys have been praying for someone to come into your life, a message. And guess what? It's not about me. I have nothing to do with it. I'm nothing but a tool. I'm nothing but a means to carry the message. I'm a conduit, but guess what? This is what I realized. Write this down. When you're not open to the message, it doesn't matter how hard you pray for it. Woo! I swear, when you're not open to the message, well, you may say, you know what, he's too loud. It can't be coming from him. I don't like his hat and shirt. It can't be coming from him. Write this down. Some of you guys have blocks that are blocking your blessings. Some of you guys have self-perpetuated blocks that are blocking your blessings. I don't know about you, but when it comes to God receiving these blessings, I want all of it. And I don't want not one blockade to get in my way. So let's tap into it. Write this down. This is my message for today. And it's going to pull from the overall theme of the conference. Write this down. The power has always been in your hands, but you have to tap in. Write that down. The power has always been, guys, I'm not about to give you anything. You already have it. I'll say it again. I'm not the savior of the conference. I'm not no. You already have everything everyone's going to tell you today. But guess what? You have to learn how to, write this word down, intentionally tap in. Okay? Big Maxwell, my guy, do me a favor. When you hear the word intentional, what do you think of, King?
I hear intentional. I hear of making something happen. I hear of getting in charge, being in front.
Okay. Somebody else. Let me go to my man right here. Juan? Is this your name, brother? Brother Juan?
Yes, it's me.
Yes, sir. King, tell me when you hear the word intentional, what do you think of?
A power, seed of creation.
Write that down, guys. Intentional means you deliberately tap in. You deliberately focus. See, some of you guys in this room, you're reactionary, not proactive. You're reactionary, not proactive. Some of you guys are like a plastic bag on a windy day. Whatever direction life blows you, you blow with that direction. You want to be a rock. You want to be a pillar. You want to be grounded. So let's get into it. The power has always been in your hands, but you have to tap in. And that involves three things. Let's go back to the conference theme. Self-value, self-worth, and self-care. Self-value, self-worth, and self-care. Let me paint a picture before I get started today. As all the work I do around the country, one of the things I have my own male success program at Prince George's Community College called the Diverse Male Student Initiative Program. When I first started 10 years ago, the program didn't exist. Now, almost 10 years later, we've impacted over 1,600 students in the area of academic excellence, manhood development, and career and entrepreneurship readiness. But I want to tell you what happened last year that shook me to a core in my whole group. There was a young man that came into my program. His name was Antoine Brown. Antoine Brown was a clean dressed brother. He was ambitious. He had a lot of future plans. I met him only 2 occasions. I met him on his interview for my program, and then I met him on the time he came to one of my workshops. All of a sudden, Antoine disappeared. And it was funny because I even though he's a new guy, I can feel when someone's not around. And so I began to get concerned. Then one particular day, I was watching the news and I heard something tragic. One particular day, Antoine was going to a modeling club meeting. And at that modeling club meeting, he had got into an altercation with someone about his sexuality. He had an alternative lifestyle, right? And he got into an argument with somebody to such degree that he asked for a ride home to go to the metro. And that evening, he threw himself in front of the train and killed himself. Just that evening. Now, what shocked me and hurt me the most was he was ambitious. He knew what he wanted, but he allowed life to conquer his spirit. He allowed the pressure of the noise to get to him. Write this down. And he forgot about his self-worth and he forgot about his self-care. And it got so bad that he took his life. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a time, and I don't know if you've done the research, people for years are going to be studying the psychological impacts of COVID on people for an eternity. Write this down. Isolation, quarantine, it's had effect on us. It's had effect on our mental health and our emotional health. And why I'm so excited about my message today is I'm going to be speaking to those things that will ignite your mental health, that will strengthen your emotional health. That's right, especially the young ones. That's right. So understand today, I'm not trying to get you revved up only. I'm trying to galvanize your spirit. I'm trying to put the joy back where joy is not. So let's get to it. The biggest issue with some of you guys in terms of tapping in, write this down. We were born extraordinary, but too many of us settled for being average. We were born extraordinary, but too many of us settle on being average. What does that mean, we settle? Hey, Chris, what does that mean to you, bro? When I say settle on being average, you know I'm going to hit you, Chris. You know I'm going to keep hitting you, bro. Let's go.
It's crazy you mentioned that. I posted a tweet where there's settlement, there's no achievement. I posted
Woo! See, I came to the right person, man. We're about to switch places. I'm going to let Chris do it, and I'm going to take back these notes. So write this down. Man, listen, I don't know about you. I'll give you an example. A couple years ago, I bought a dream car that I liked at the time. It was a BMW Gold 525. And I remember when I bought it, I was talking to the dealership. I said, what's the best kind of gas that goes in this vehicle? He said, only high performance. It's a high performance vehicle. It only does high performance gas. This is the problem. God birthed you as a high performance vehicle, but you keep putting in medium grade. Oh, y'all missed that one. God made you high performance, but you keep putting inside of you medium grade. All right, let's get to it. So number one, we were born extraordinary, but we keep settling for average. Okay? This is the thing, write this down. You need to be cognizant when you're tapping in of your environment in terms of how people around you. How do we begin to settle for average? Write this down. A lot of us settle for average because of the environment we grew up in. If you're surrounded by average, you may not even know extraordinary exists. And what I love right now, my son is around the corner in this room, but guess what he can? He can hear me. He hears what I'm talking about. My son is not surrounded by mediocrity. My son is not surrounded by being average. He's surrounded by excellence. Matter of fact, when I said my prayers with my son last night, I said, son, I got a speaking engagement in the morning. He said, good job, Dad. Hey, fathers, you know what it feels like to have your son tell you good job? Y'all know what that feels like? Good job, Dad. You've been rolling. And I said, yes, I know. Alhamdulillah, all praise due to God. Okay? So understand this. Some of you in this room, write this down. You need to rewrite your narrative. If you grew up in an environment where you were not pushed to be excellent, pushed to be greater, maybe that's why you settle for average. Write this down too. Some of you in this room, you become vulnerable of letting other people project their fears on you. I'll say this one more time. Some of you in this room, you've been guilty of allowing other people to project their fears on you. Matter of fact, Jay-Z, this is crazy. We'll talk more about that. But Jay-Z, who basically doubled his net worth in the last 2 weeks. We're not going to have a conversation about that. But Jay-Z made a comment in one of his rap songs. He said, my uncle said I never sell a million records, even though I sold a million records a million times. I'll say it one more time. Jay-Z said, my uncle said I never sell a million records, even though I sold a million records a million times. Hey, guys, Jay-Z's uncle is his blood and would hear his music and be around him. Guess what? Sometimes the closest people to you will never believe in you. And you know why? They don't believe in themselves. And seeing you win reminds them what they could have been. Woo, I just made that up. I'll say it again. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Sometimes the people closest to you will never believe in you because they don't believe in themselves. And seeing you win reminds them what they could have been. And that shit rhymes. Wow. It's real. Okay, so number one, make sure you're fostering an environment that you're being pushed beyond being average. Make sure you're not accepting the fears other people place on you. Let's keep rocking. Let's keep rocking. Next one, to properly tap in, and I want you to write this down, to properly tap into your greatness, into your leadership, you have to be a fighter. You have to fight. Hey, guys, write this down. Passive don't move nothing. Being passive moves nothing. You want to be an artist? Go hard. You want to be a CFO? Go hard. You want to be a master educator that changes lives? Go hard. Sitting back and let me tell you right now, some of you guys allow your coolness to block your blessings. You're so busy being cool, you don't want to appear thirsty. You don't want to appear overly excited. So and this is my black men in particular, we're so worried about being cool, we'll fall back so our friends be like, oh, he's cool. Yo, bump that. I'm getting to my blessings. You know what's cool? God. You know that's what's cool. God is cool. But if you're so concerned about your blessings, if you're so concerned about your coolness, you'll block your blessings. Let's get into it. All right. When I turn the page is a problem. When I turn the page is a problem. Write this down. Number one, in terms of fighting for your legacy, fighting for your destiny, write this down. Number one, know your anointing. Woo! I never talk religion. That's not what I do, but I may drop in spirituality, right? I do believe in spirituality, and there's always a higher power. Write this down. You have to know you were born for a season and a reason. Listen. You were born for a season and a reason. That's knowing your anointing. Write this down. The God I serve does not make people on accident. It does not make people on accident. You are here to do something for a reason. Number two, in terms of fighting, tap it into your spirit, tap it into your power. Write this down. You have to know your gifts, your perspectives, and your frustrations. Hold up. I don't think I caught that. In terms of tapping into your next level, into your leadership, in terms of your self-worth, your self-value, your self-care, you have to know your gifts, you have to know your perspectives, and you have to know your frustrations. You say, Heat, what do you mean frustrations? Hey, guys, write this down. There's an incredible movie on Netflix called Judas and the Black Messiah. Woo! It is a story of Fred Hampton, who was the founder of the Black Panthers, and it told the story about how the FBI and the Chicago Police Department collaborated to have paid Black informants get into the Black Panthers and tear them down. But the reason why I bring up frustration is Fred Hampton was not inspired to create the Black Panthers. It was through his frustration. Write this down. Sometimes through your frustrations, you find your purpose. Dr. King found his purpose through his frustration. Malcolm X found his purpose through his frustrations. So sometimes, guys, don't think about what makes you happy. Think about what makes you pissed. Think about that. Just don't pursue what makes you happy. Sometimes pursue, because guess what? You may be the answer God sent to solve that problem. Woo! You might be a change agent. You might be that disruptor that's coming in to change that. So write this down. In terms of tapping into your power, you have to know your gifts, your perspectives, and your frustrations. Next one. Once you identify your gifts, you have to begin the journey to mastery. The journey to mastery. Let me go down to this brother right here because I see he's connecting to the energy. Brother Ricardo, I see you in the corner, brother. When I say start to master your gifts, what do you think of? When I say start to master your gifts?
Master your traits, practice them, have it be like second nature. The things, if you find your purpose in life or whatever you're trying that you feel that you're good at, a couple things projects that I wanted to do, you got to master those traits and actually apply that to what you're trying to do.
Let's go over to Brother Musta. Am I pronouncing your name, King? I see you right here with the New York flag behind you. How about I pronounce your name?
Moaz. You can call me Mo, though.
Big Mo, tell me, when you think about mastering your gifts, what do you think of?
I think about, becoming like you. Like, all of us, you were talking earlier, if you're around the same people all the time, they're not pushing you, what are you doing? But I think if you take yourself out of that perspective, that mindset, and you get to know who you are as a whole, and like you spend a lot of time with yourself, you'll be something. You'll be different.
Let me give you an example. Good answer, guys. Write this down. When you first get started, you're first getting started. When Kobe Bryant I'll give you an example. Kobe tells a story about one of his first summer league seasons. He scored 0 points for the entire season. Not for a game, not for 2 games. Kobe said he went scoreless for a whole summer playing AAU. But now, and rest in peace, Kobe, man, what I realize is where you start is not where you finish. But Kobe was so dedicated to mastery. If you ever heard Michael Jordan speak at Kobe's funeral, he said Kobe would constantly call him, almost to the point where Michael Jordan got irritated, like, bro, stop calling me, bro. Why you keep calling me? And guess what? All Kobe wanted to talk about were the details to the game. Write this down. You need to go to the gift dojo. If you're a martial arts guy, the dojo is where you go to get your talent together. That's where you get your talent together. So whatever your gift is, I want you to dedicate yourself to mastering your gift, getting better. And write this down. Have patience with yourself. Some of you guys quit too early before the magic can happen. We live in a world where if you don't blow up overnight, you're a loser. If you don't blow up in 10 days, you're a loser. If your first video don't go viral, no one's feeling you. Guess what? Don't let social media rush you. Don't do it. You've seen the quote, don't let social media rush you. So let's go again. Number 1, know your anointing. Number 2, uncover your gifts, perspectives, and frustrations. Number 3, begin the journey of mastery. Write this down. Put yourself in growth spaces, people, places, and experiences. Right now, you guys, no one forced y'all to get on today. No one said, oh, if you don't get on, life is over. You got on this morning because you wanted to invest in yourself, you wanted to invest in your students and show them you cared. But guess what? Right now, become addicted to growth spaces. Any space where you can grow. And that's with the right people, that's in the right places, and that's in the right experiences. I'll give you an example. Not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, I had an opportunity that for Christmas, I got my son a cooking class. The coolest gift I've ever gotten him. The coolest gift. There was a young lady from Spelman, Chef Zaza, who now does in a COVID space virtual teaching lessons for cooking. My son is not he's not a guy who's in the kitchen too often, but I think as a young man, you need to learn how to cook. He's 12 years old. And I said, let's do this. I'm going to buy him a 4-week cooking class. He learned how to stir fry. He made lasagna. He did I was a sous chef. I'm in the back chopping up onions. I'm in the back doing the sweet potatoes. And Quest is doing it. Guess what, though? Write this down. That was an experience. My son left that place better than he was before. Guys, write this down. Get addicted to growth spaces around the right people, the right places, and the right experiences. Next one, let's go. Write this down. It's big, big, big. There's never a withdrawal without deposits. I want you to do me a favor. Go to a bank that you don't have an account in and try to take out some money. They will laugh you out. And what I'm giving you guys is a metaphor for work ethic. If you want to tap into your self-value, your self-worth, you need to have an extraordinary work ethic because there is no withdrawals without deposits. You have to put something in to take something out. Kevin Hart once said, he is a 15-year overnight success. Oh, you missed that one. He's a 15-year overnight success. Kevin Hart was doing films, and if I told you the films, you wouldn't remember none of these films because no one knew who he was. But guess what? 15 years later, he's a walking global icon. Write this down. What if I told you in the next 10 years, you would have everything you ever wanted, the job, the love life, the physical fitness, the financial security. But guess what? What if I told you those 10 years will be the hardest 10 years of your life? Would you still want what you say you want? I see you all shaking your head, but somebody's lying. You know why? We're too used to having things given to us. Write this down. Somebody said we all want an opportunity until it shows up looking like hard work. We all want an opportunity until I've told students, look, I'll give you $1,000 scholarship to your next institution, but I need a 5-page research paper in 3 days on what you're going to do with the money, what you're going to do with college, and what your plan is after college. And all of a sudden, everybody wants their hand up for that money. All their hands came down. You know why? Because of a 5-page paper. Brother, I wrote a 20-page paper. Someone said they got some money for me? 20 pages. No problem. Write this down. Some of you guys have a caviar dream, but a McDonald's work ethic. You got an ace of spades. You got an ace of spades all in your mindset. But behind closed doors, you drinking tap water. Guys, you have to, write this down, outwork the world, or the world's going to work the hell out of you. One more time. Outwork the world, or the world's going to work the hell out of you. And that's on everything. All right? So, guys, remember, in work ethic, you only get out what you put in. Let's keep rocking. Let's keep rocking. Next one. Leaders are readers. Because the school system's not enough. Lehman's going to say, Brian, you can't talk like this. This is a college group. You can't tell college students this. You can't tell college administrators school isn't enough. Guys, I didn't say school wasn't important. Guess what? It's essential. College is essential. High school, middle school, essential. But guess what, though? If you believe you're going to manifest your full potential in just traditional schooling, you're lying to yourself. My son, on top of his schoolwork, and he makes straight A's, on top of his schoolwork, my son has a different reading book, has a different book he reads every day for me. He read he read The Alchemist. He's reading all these high-level books. He's 12 years old. You know why? Write this down. I'm not building a son. I'm building a game changer. Hey, listen, how you going to take the same class as everybody else, but you feel you're going to make a major difference? But you took all the same class they did. What are you reading? I'm going to give you some books right now to change your life. Number 1, Celestine Prophecy. Read it. Celestine Prophecy. One knows. Write down The Alchemist. Write that book down, The Alchemist. Next book, The Power of Now. Woo! I'll give you another one. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself is a game changer. Woo! Hey guys, I can keep going, but guess what? Leaders are readers. And guess what? In school, they're giving you books based upon the curriculum. I'm talking about reading for your manifestations. Even my book, Get Ignited. Get Ignited, the one that went Amazon bestseller. That's a perfect book for those of you trying to get things started. Let's move on. I don't got too much to go. Okay, this is the last one, and then I'm going to go into a question and answer. Right now, the demands of being a student, the demands of being an adult, the demands of being a black man, a black woman, a person of color, whoever you are, you have family obligations. You have academic obligations. You have obligations to your dream. You have obligations to friends and family. Guess what? You have to master keeping your well filled. What I mean by that, I don't know about you. Some of you are giving your energy away too freely to too many nonsensical things. If it's not pouring into your purpose, get rid of it. If it's not pouring into your purpose, get rid of it. And the reason why I say that is this. How can you pour into somebody else if your well is empty? How can educators, I used to be an educator, guys, I still am one. I know this. I'm very quick to tell anyone I'm going to take an unplugged day and get myself together. I'm going to go hoop. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get my meditation on. I'm going to get my namaste on. I'm going to do all of that. You know why? It keeps me filled up. And write this down. The better equipped you are at keeping yourself filled, you can pour more effectively into other people. I want to give you fresh water, not malt liquor. Y'all missed that. Y'all missed that one. I want to give you fresh water, but I can't give you fresh water if I've allowed myself to get depleted down. Right now, you need to be managing your diet. Hey, guys, do me a favor. I don't preach a certain diet, but I do know this. What you feed your body comes out. So if you're constantly eating fast food, high sugar items, just things that aren't good for your body, don't be surprised you're not as effective. Number 2, are you getting adequate sleep? One of my motivational speakers, that I'm not going to say his name, he loves to say things like sleep is for suckers. Guess what? That's the worst advice ever. You want to be successful? Get some sleep. You got to get sleep, man. Your body can't operate with no sleep. Look, guys, I know it sounds sexy. Oh, I don't sleep. I just work all night. Okay, you keep doing that until you fall the hell over. You're going to fall the hell over and your dream's going to be done. So number 1, your diet. Number 2, your sleep. Number 3, are you dominating your morning? Write this down. Are you dominating your mornings? Your morning routine should include something that gets your body pumping, maybe a prayer or meditation, maybe an inspirational YouTube video, something to set the tone for your day so that you are filled up as you're stomping around and you have enough for you and you have enough for everybody else. What I'm telling you right now, we're going to talk about this more at the close, is this. Write this down. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is not power. Uh-oh, I'm sweating like TD Jakes. I'm about to go grab my towel. Knowledge is not power. And this was funny. All of my educator friends, they love to try to correct me. Oh, Mr. Heat messed up. I just caught him slipping. You didn't catch nobody slipping. I know what the hell I said. Knowledge is not power. Write this down. applied knowledge is power. So guess what? I gave you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I gave you like 10 to 15 things to consider. Guess what? If you don't implement one thing I said, it doesn't even matter. You came to this conference. Guys, you don't get anything for just showing up. Put some hustle behind that muscle. So I challenge you right now. Some of you need to prepare for what you've been praying for. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I believe in God 1,000%, but what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to make all the work put at God. Oh, God, you do it all, bro. You do it all. I'm going to sit back and Netflix and chill and just manifest it for me. No, you have to put some hustle behind that muscle and prepare for what you pray for. Ladies and gentlemen, write this down. As I begin to wrap up, and I really want to hear some questions from you guys, and I want to exchange before I close out, at least in my keynote this morning, you have to ask yourself, when it's all said and done, how will the world remember you were here? Because you don't know who's watching. My son could be watching. Your nieces, nephews, colleagues, co-workers could be watching. You could be the reason why someone becomes the next president. You can be the reason why someone cures cancer, someone finally gets COVID out of here for real. You could be that reason, but if you're not putting hustle behind that muscle, you're not manifesting anything. So guys, remember my message today. It was, you've always had the power, but you have to tap in and be intentional. And be intentional. With that being said, guys, that's the end of my time, at least in the morning. I hope I said something that lit you up. Chris, Lima, James, Jarvis, all my guys, you know how I get down. I'm excited, I'm sweating, but I'm here with you, and I want to answer some questions, man. Ask me a couple Q&As. With that being said, my name is Brian Heat, and you just been ignited, man. Clap it up for yourselves, guys. So, Lima, let's do some Q&A if we have any time.
Yes, we got a lot of time. We're here till 2 for your questions. So any questions, feel free to put it in the chat or put your name in the chat, and we'll just call on you to speak.
And if it isn't a question, you can also give me a comment. What did you connect to? What are you struggling with? Let's talk about it.
All right, I see Chris' name. Go ahead, Chris. You can unmute.
I'll break the ice. Brian, appreciate that. I got my notes here ready too. Wanna ask, how do you lead people that don't see the vision, and how do you lead people virtually?
Write this down. And it's a great question. From a leadership perspective, actions speak louder than words. I can't convince a grown adult to do anything. A grown adult is going to do what they want to do when they want to do it. What I can do is lead by example, meaning if it's time to start something, I'm going to start it, and I'm not waiting for anyone. If it's time to start an initiative, I'm going to be the first one out there. Because guess what? Write this down. Let your vibe attract your tribe. And people that are really about that hustle and that go-getter spirit, they're going to be attracted to your actions, not your words. Because everybody talks. Think about the barbershop and the salon. How many times you been in the salon hearing about someone gonna do something? I think that's your first name, Gonna Do. What's your name? Gonna Do. When? Tomorrow. So your full name is Gonna Do Tomorrow. Barbershop. What's your name? Gonna Do. When? Tomorrow. But guess what? They can all relate to action, Chris. So, Chris, that's my short answer. And Chris, to be honest, I'll give you this. I do a lot of these virtual Zooms, Chris. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. You know me in terms of my physical energy and how I get down. I was nervous. I was not looking forward to this because I know I want to be live and I want to jump out and hug a person and give them a high five. You know how I get down, but guess what? You know what's undeniable? That energy. That energy. So what I did on Zoom is I just turn up. And every time I do a keynote, the first feedback I get is a heat. That energy ain't changed. We feel it. We can feel you through the Zoom. So guys, do me a favor, answering Chris' question. You lead by action. Let your vibe attract your tribe, and never lose your energy. Adults in the room, some of us become so adult, we lose our energy. Some of y'all are so mature. Your title and your cars and your clothes and everything you do, you're so accomplished, now you're irrelevant. And let me tell you what's happening. You can't be irrelevant educator. You walk into a room and you think your cars, your clothes, your shirt, your tie, your degree speaks volumes. It doesn't. You know what speaks volumes? Your passion. You know what speaks volumes? The people in the audience want to know you love them. What's the old quote? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I've had guys come off the street as convicts recently released from prison, and they have been giving better testimonials than the CEO from corporate America, because that convict has been through it. And now he's on the other side saying, don't do this, I've been through it. And his energy exudes out of him. That's what changes a life. Your actions, not your words. Come on, more questions, more comments.
Yeah, I got a question privately. So it says, Brian, what provoked you to pivot when COVID stopped the world, and what inspired you to pivot?
Can I be honest? Losing like $25,000 to $30,000 is gonna make you pivot on any day. So number one, as an entrepreneur, I saw revenue that wasn't coming in, right? I saw revenue that was not coming in. And if you're an entrepreneur, the revenue is for other projects. The revenue is not for my personal bills, but it's for other projects. And so when I lost that 30,000, I said, what can I do? So I pivoted. So I'll give you an example. One of the first things I did, you guys can check my website for the link. I created my own online merch store, like the rockers, the entertainers, and the rappers do. But now I have my own online merch store called Rock the World Apparel, with 6 different brands that I created with my, and you can go online and check it out. It's really cool stuff. This is one of the brands you'll see on there. But with that being said, I realized, write this down, you have to reinvent yourself based upon a new landscape. COVID changed the landscape. I'm a performer of audiences. So I had to get very good at positioning myself for the online community, for revenue online, for presenting online. Matter of fact, I have something secret coming up, and I'll be teaching selected people how to become motivational speakers. But I'll be doing that online, and you have to pay for that. That's going to be something you can buy and purchase from me. But guess what? Realize this. You have to be able to be flexible to whatever society is giving you. Whatever the new landscape is, don't be so grounded that you can't pivot and adjust.
James, did you want to say something? James Verity? I think you probably was typing.
More questions, more questions.
James asks, how do you maintain that energy?
That's God. I'll be honest with you, it's God, guys. And can I be honest with you? I think you guys deserve it. I'm looking around at people. Let me tell you something. Let me just call some names out. Katrina has been giving me a lot of energy as I've been talking. Lorraine, Brother Mark Sanders, Maxwell, James in the room. I see Brother James. As I'm talking, Brother Bryce up top, Brother Bryce, Eric, Hala. Oh, beautiful name, Queen. What I'm seeing is the more energy I give you, you give it back. So this is my thing is, write this down. Do something with the end in mind. Do something with the end in mind. If I want you guys to feel me, how can I give you lukewarm energy? If I want you guys to change something about yourself or make an adjustment, I can't do that by giving you, and I'm players at Omega South Carolina State. We have what's called lukewarm enthusiasm. You have to be enthusiastic, because guess what? Energy is never destroyed. It's just transferred. Guys, one time I did a minor league baseball team that had like a 40-game losing streak. A 40-game losing streak. I came in and did a 20-minute session. The game they played, they beat the brakes off that team 11-1. And in baseball, that's a big number. 11-1. Guys, guess where that came from? It was the energy that I had that was pushed on to them. And the coach came to me every inning and said, Heat, I don't know what you told these boys, but keep coming back, Heat. Keep coming back. That's why I give you guys the energy. I get it from God, but I realize the more energy I give you, the results magnify 10%, 20%, 30% based on how much energy I put out.
Any Any other questions? Put your name in the chat and I can unmute or ask the question in the chat. But Brian, I had a question for you. Do you have any advice for folks that may lose patience with themselves, especially when it comes to self-care and self-worth?
Listen, you know what's so funny? It's really not funny. You have to realize that when you came into this world, you were filled with love. You were filled with a blessing that couldn't even be described. It's the world that teaches you not to value yourself. You don't come into this world feeling unloved. You don't come into this world feeling like you're not good enough. It's the world. Write this down. You need to become impervious to the negativity and fears of others. Because again, you know, Cat Williams had a joke that said self-esteem is based upon self. It's how you feel about you. But guess what? If you know you've lived a traumatic life and a hard life, and you've not been surrounded with the right people who've been pouring into you, you have to be patient. You have to be intentional with changing your circles so that, I don't know about you, when I get around people, I think my positivity is contagious because I'll get around people and whatever you tell me you want to do, I believe you. One day, a guy came into my office one day and said, "Mr. Heat, I want to be an astronaut." And then I just went to my computer, started typing. He said, "Mr. Heat, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to the NASA website." He said, "You believe me?" I said, "Why wouldn't I?" He said, "Well, most of the time when I tell people, because I'm a black male with cornrows and Timberlands, that I want to be an astronaut, they don't believe me." I said, "I don't. I believe everything you say." So let me ask you a question. Write this down. Are you being intentional? Are you being purposeful? Are you being patient with restructuring your circle? Restructuring what I call it your diet. Your diet is not just your food. It's what you see. It's what you hear and what you surround yourself with on a daily basis. Because guess what? That's going to be what helps you change from not having self-care into having self-care. Get around people who meditate. Get around people who exercise. My lady right now in my life she used to be a bodybuilder. She's a vegan. She owns several pieces of property. She's an entrepreneur. One of the things that attracted me to her was not just her amazing physical beauty, but also the woman she was intellectually, the woman she was spiritually. So by me getting around her and I see the way she treats herself, she treats her body, she treats her environment, that inspired me to do the same thing. So guys, get with the winners. The conversation is different. That's not just an IG quote, that's real rap.
Brian, I have Max next.
Brother Max, talk to me.
Yeah, I want to know some of your daily go-to routines that you do every morning to keep yourself motivated and elevate your mind. Something that we can do starting today.
Well, I'll tell you right now, number one is definitely prayer. And my prayer is always a spirit of gratitude. Some of you guys wake up and write this down. Some of you guys spend too much time worrying about what you don't have versus being grateful for what you do have. My God. You wake up every day, your number one thought is, I don't have this, I don't have this. I'm not this, I'm not that. And guess what? Big Sean did an interview recently, and Big Sean said, imagine everything that comes out of your mouth, the universe is standing right in front of you, giving you what you gave it. So if you wake up in the morning and say, I don't have this, I don't have this, I want this, but I don't have it, the universe says, I'm going to keep you feeling like that. I'm going to keep you. So number one is prayer. Number two, meditation. And I say something quick, guys. Go online and type in morning meditation. You can find things that are guided and self-guided. You can find things that are 5-minute meditations, 10-minute meditations, and 30 minutes to an hour. If I were you and you're not good at meditating just yet, do something brief like 5 to 6 minutes. Secondly, I don't know about you, I'm a hip hop guy. I love music in the morning, but I'm not going to like Casanova 2 times, who actually is incarcerated right now. I like Casanova's music, but I can't do Casanova in the morning. Casanova will make you go and want to commit a crime. I don't want to do that. So I'm doing Kendrick Lamar. I'm doing J. Cole. I love Common in the morning. Something's going to make me feel good. Also, guys, do something physical. I'm 45. I'll be 45 in 2 weeks. And I'm doing 2-a-day workouts. I'm working out in the morning and the afternoon. Now, guys, I'm pretty sure most of y'all in this room are younger than me. If I'm doing 2-a-days on top of a hectic schedule, being a father, an entrepreneur, and a speaker, you can do it too. So I'd say number one, prayer, meditation, something physical. And then write this down. Do something every single week that scares the hell out of you. Now that's a goal. Because your goal should scare you and excite you at the same damn time, right? So pick something. I don't care what it is. Some of you guys want to be speakers, but you're never on a gram speaking. Go online and do a live. Record your first YouTube video. Start writing your book. Whatever you want to do something that scares you. And those are a couple of things I'd recommend to keep your spirits lifted.
Wow, powerful. I got a private message. How do I share my emotions as a man when I grew up? While growing up, I was taught to not share as a man those emotions.
Lima, when this COVID thing is done, I gotta come back to the campus, on campus, and talk about this specifically. Write this down, guys. Men, suppressing your emotions is not healthy. Can I be honest with you, Maxwell? Juan, can I be honest with you? Lima, can I be honest with you? I'm 45. My father will be 69 in April. My father has never told me to my face, I love you. My father has never mentioned those words to me ever. Does that mean my father and I aren't close? No, me and my father like this. But my father is a 69-year-old black man from the city of Pittsburgh. He wasn't built to show those emotions. Matter of fact, when we hug, I've never hugged my father like this before ever in my life. My father gives you this one. That separation. And when I tried to hug him, he backs away. So let me get back to the question. We have to be strong enough in our masculinity to know that our emotions were given to us for a reason. As a man, when you see a man all of a sudden become a violent drinker or dive into drugs or mistreating people and beating people, their wife, their children, you know where that comes from? Suppressed emotions. Why do I go to the gym? Sometimes I got to get it out. I got to get it out at that gym, right? Guys, let me give a quick example on how beautiful sometimes things are. At the end of Judas and the Black Messiah movie, I was watching it with my son. And when I watch heavy content films like that, we don't watch it straight through. We'll play, pause, so my son can tell me what he's picking up from the film. It's a heavy film. By the time the film was over, I think you realize at the end that Fred Hampton is killed, right? They shot 99 times into the house. That shouldn't be a spoiler. You should know your history already. I don't think I spoiled the film. You should know that Fred Hampton was killed, right? So when I turned to my son, I said, son, tell me how you liked the film. And he told me what he liked about it. He said, Daddy, what about you? And guess what, Lima? It hit me. This wave of emotion hit me. Boom! And I started crying. This was like 3 weeks ago. I was sitting right here on the couch and I started crying profusely, crying. And I said, and I just started venting. I said, son, it ain't easy being a black man. It's not easy fighting against injustice. But guess what? Me and you, I went into this whole soapbox. We built for it, son. And I started crying and crying and crying all off this film. Then what happened to my son? My son started crying. But we weren't crying out of sadness. We were crying out of frustration, passion, and love. And guess what he did? It was so beautiful. I didn't try to wipe my tears and suck it up in front of him. Oh, I don't want my son to see me cry. I kept crying and venting and crying. My son came up and gave me this big hug with two hands right around my body and said, Daddy, it's going to be all right. Matter of fact, I'm getting choked up just talking about that. He said, Dad, it's going to be all right. And for my 12-year-old to tell me it's going to be all right, it made me feel amazing. But guess what? I would have never had that moment if I was too concerned about keeping my emotions inside. Guys, I don't know about you. Why would God give us emotions but tell men we're not supposed to use them? And ladies, can I be honest with you? And I need my ladies to start supporting our brothers. Often ladies in relationships will tell a man, you've emotionally checked out. But the time he allows himself to be emotional, you're not encouraging it, or you call, or you weak, or why are you crying, and what's your problem, and why are you acting like that? Ladies, you can't have it both ways. You want a man who's emotionally invested, but then when he comes in and he's emotional, he gets criticized for being emotional. My father for years would call me, Brian, you're a little sensitive. And I get mad, like, who you talking to? What do you mean? Now, the last time he said that, I said, yes, I am, sir. I'm very sensitive. And I don't mind showing it. Guys, do me a favor. In this country, and it's unfortunate, men are not giving the social space to cry. Men aren't given the social space to vent. Matter of fact, I posted something on my Instagram and it said this to the ladies. Ladies, if a black man chooses to vent to you, you don't realize the compliment he just gave you. If a black or brown man gets on the phone and admits his shortcomings and admits his frustrations and is telling you, just venting to you, and he chose you, that's a major compliment. You know why? That means he felt comfortable with you. He felt there would be no judgment. And what you can't do is throw that shit back in his face. Remember that day you was crying on a little phone? Remember how you was acting all so? Look, when Kobe died, I was crying like that was my brother for real. When Kobe died, I was crying. I'm gonna tell you what did it. When I realized his daughter died with him, I was done. When I found out it was Kobe and his daughter, I was done. But guess what? My lady, and we weren't even in a relationship at the time, she was the first one. That's what she told me. Baby, are you all right? Do I need to come over? How can I show up for you? Write this down. Who are you showing up for? Women, are you showing up for these men? You want us to show up for you. You want us to caress and be attentive and be there emotionally, but are you doing that the same thing for men? So guys, I cut that short and just say, a real man is a holistic, fully developed man. Not just a big brolicky hitting his chest, I'm a man. That's bullshit. What a man is someone who's in tune with his heart, in tune with his God, and in tune with his emotions.
Wow, Brian. Wow. This other question kind of relates, another private one. What is your take on men seeking counseling or assistance, especially when they've been through trauma as a child? So some of it is similar, but
I got a good friend of mine. He's one of my old mentees, and he lives in Chicago. He's an MC. He's an activist. He works very close with Nikki Giovanni from a writing perspective. And he has a new clothing line that said, I think it says therapy is lit. In the black and brown community, therapy has gotten a bad stigma that if you're going to see a therapist, you're crazy, right? I don't know about you. Langston Hughes, I think, said it. I think it was Langston Hughes said to be a black person in America is to be enraged at all times, right? And this would be for not even just black Americans, but just if you're a marginalized person, it's to be enraged at all times. So I'll say this. Let me be very honest with you. So I was in a relationship 5 or 6 years ago, prior to my new one. And the woman I was with was a beautiful soul, a great person, but she had experienced a great deal of trauma when she was young. Trauma from her father, trauma from being adopted, trauma from being dark-skinned, and all of it had settled into her spirit. One of the reasons why we were not able to succeed after being together for about 4 or 5 years is she was in deep need of therapy. Not because of she and I, but she had some baggage. Write this down. I don't mind dealing with someone with baggage if I know you're unpacking. Y'all missed that one. I don't mind dealing with people with baggage as long as I see you unpacking. What you can't do is come to me and say, take me as I am. Yeah, I will, but are you dealing with your scars? Are you dealing with your unpacked bag? So I'll go back to this. Therapy is really for strong people. It's not for weak people. To go see a person and say, this is my shortcomings, these are my challenges, I need some help, that shows true strength. To me, it makes me feel like this. You really don't want to become the person you're praying for. Because if you really want to become the person you're praying for, you would do everything absolutely necessary to rid yourself of the baggage, the bondage, the old mindsets that are hurting you. If you really are serious about stepping into your next level, you have to get rid of old tape, old thoughts, old pain. Hey guys, write this down. The pain you were given or experienced was given to shape you, not incarcerate you. The pain you were given, the pain you experienced was meant to be a temporary rider. and then drop their ass off and go on moving, being stronger. Does that make sense? So I believe in therapy 1,000%. It may not always be with a therapist, but find someone you can talk to. Find someone who's non-judgmental that you can speak life into and tell about your shortcomings and what you're battling. And I guarantee it'll make you feel better. So I'm thumbs up on therapy.
Thank you, Brian. Anyone else have any last questions? And if so, in the meantime, Brian, could you share how we can connect with you? How can people follow you or connect with you in some way?
Let me be honest with you. The best way, and I say this to groups all the time, and I know Chris and a bunch of the guys already follow me, is that I don't have any followers. I don't have any followers. I have leaders. Talib Kweli once said, I'm not looking for new followers. I'm looking for new leaders. So on social media, I'm Brian Heat 7.0. If someone can help me put that in the chat, Brian Heat, BrianHeat 7.0. If you do connect on my page, I will immediately connect right back with you. I'm also at Facebook at Brian Heat. My website is brianheat.com. And again, these are ways you can keep in contact with me. Brian at Brian Heat is my email. Brian at Brian Heat is my email, brianheat.com. And those are the best ways to reach me. But again, I'm not looking to be this influencer with a herd of people following me. No, I want to collaborate. I want to rock with people just like me, got the same frequency, and we can support each other mutually.
Cool. Thank you, Brian. Max, could you take it away?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Brian, so much for an inspirational keynote session. That was powerful. I hope everybody was feeling that the way I was feeling that. I was engaged, locked in. I got my notes down. Thank you so much. Your energy is nothing short of contagious. We're going to have a short break. We're going to be jumping into that transition into our next guest speaker. So if anyone can jump back on around 2:10, around 2:10,